Hi there Libra, thank you for joining me for your year 2013 forecast. Now when I began this last year for you, Saturn, the planet of structure but also of restriction, was still in your sign. Well, fortunately it waved au revoir late in October last year, but it's now moved into your sector of resources, and one of the misunderstandings about Saturn is that it will only affect us at certain times. This is not true. It affects us all the time in either a positive or more challenging way. So for you, managing what you have more astutely is going to be quite a theme for some months to come, for just over 2 years. And this year, as you begin this year, you're still influenced by the lunar and solar eclipse which occurred in November of last year. For me, this gives you an opportunity to do well through some kind of contractual situation later this year, but you have to have your facts right, and you have to be in the right itself. It's also possible that if you're too speculative, you could lose money. And if you're coming into contact with any legal sort of processes, again, you have to be in the right to come through this in a positive way. But as the year turns into 2013, there's a very important connection between the Sun and Pluto. And this is really influencing where you live, how you live there, your emotional life, and your family situation too. And something can transform in 2013 in a big way around these areas. You may move, there may be a new addition, a child may leave the nest, an older child may decide to return to the nest because they need your support. There can be a lot going on, but there's also a very, very powerful alliance between Mars, Uranus, and also Jupiter, which is absolutely wonderful. And as much as Saturn's asking you to think of resources and Pluto's asking you to think of your emotional situation, these three are asking you to go for it and be much more proactive when it comes to expressing your creativity, your imagination, or even having a bit of a fling with someone who's a bit racy and challenging, who can shake up your life. May not necessarily be always comfortable, but it certainly won't be dull. Now this will be particularly so from the middle of March, when Uranus starts to square up with Pluto, and it will do so through to the end of the year. And relationships will just continue to have a profound impact on your emotional health. But it's all about you learning to make sure that you stay a separate person in relationships, that you don't lose your identity, which can be a Libran fault. I'm asking you to embrace your cardinal energy, the leader in you, to show that you can be the one who is really suggesting things, who is the person who's coming up with inspirational ideas that other people will want to follow you for. Remember, Gandhi was a Libran, so this can be a sign of enormous influence if you're not so focused on the reactions you get from other people, and that's really the central theme. But unfortunately, from the middle of February for 5.5 months, Saturn does rewind, and money could get mightily tight, and you might have to get by on a little bit less and get much cleverer at dealing with what you have. Now in May, we do have another pair of eclipses. Now these two, the solar eclipse is going to occur in your sector of long-term finances, so we're talking about pensions, mortgages, paying off debt, paring down credit card debt and all the rest of it. And the lunar eclipse occurs in the part of your horoscope that's to do with communication. If you're signing any contracts in the second half of this year, make sure you read that small print. Maybe something that often gets said, but it's really important that you do. At the start of June, Jupiter, the planet of fortune traditionally, but of expansion, moves into your sector of work. And something good can happen in the second half of this year as far as professional aspirations are concerned. And especially if you take the initiative, that's always very important, particularly for you, that cardinal sign. So don't feel it's always about fitting in with other people. That's really something I'm keen to encourage for you. Now, on the 18th of October, there is going to be a lunar eclipse, which occurs in the part of your horoscope that's to do with your relationships. So basically, it's occurring in Aries. And this is clashing with the solar eclipse, which occurs early in November, part of your horoscope that's to do with everyday resources. And if you're with someone who's not easy, doesn't understand that your discipline around money needs to be shared by them, or vice versa. This can cause some real tensions. So you need to be conscious of that as you wind this year down, because Saturn's very close to the solar eclipse. And if you're still not being very disciplined about money or what you eat and drink, because weight can be an issue too this year for you, then I do feel the last couple of months of this year could be quite tough going. So you need to keep your nose to the grindstone. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.